Data loss prevention. Control B.4. And it matters because the most damaging data theft usually comes from someone who was supposed to have the access. Here's the case that proves it. Between 2011 and 2014, a financial advisor at Morgan Stanley named Galen Marsh copied the account details of roughly 730,000 clients to a personal laptop and a home server. Names, account numbers, investment data, balances. It ran for 18 months without anyone stopping it. FINRA fined Morgan Stanley $1 million. And the entry point was not a hack. Marsh was a financial advisor. Accessing client accounts was literally his job. His credentials were valid. His access was authorized. What was unusual was the volume, and where the data went next, onto a device the firm did not control. But the insider wasn't really the failure. The failure was that nobody noticed. 730,000 records is an extraordinary amount for one advisor to touch, and that alone should have fired an alert. Either the thresholds were set too high, or alerts were generated and never investigated. Morgan Stanley didn't find this through monitoring at all. They found out when a slice of the data turned up on a forum online. So what is data loss prevention? It is the set of tools and processes that monitor, detect, and block sensitive data leaving the organization, whether it is taken deliberately by an insider, stolen through a compromised account, or emailed to the wrong person by accident. There are really 4 ways data walks out. The insider with legitimate access and an illegitimate purpose. The attacker who steals credentials and then behaves exactly like a trusted employee. The honest mistake, sensitive files sent to the wrong recipient or uploaded to personal cloud storage. And removable media, where the data simply leaves in somebody's pocket. At Morgan Stanley, the gaps were specific. There was no monitoring of bulk internal data access, and that is the first half of every insider exfiltration. There were no effective controls stopping transfer to a personal device. Alert thresholds were either set too high or the alerts were never worked. And discovery was entirely reactive, an outside notification, 18 months into the theft. So what does good look like? Data classified when it is created, so the label drives the policy. Restricted data gets stricter rules than internal data. Endpoint DLP agents that watch and block copies to USB drives, personal cloud storage, and personal email. Network DLP inspecting outbound traffic for the signature of sensitive data, bulk account numbers, health records, tax file numbers. User behavior analytics that learn each person's normal and flag the advisor pulling 100 times their weekly average. And critically, an alert queue that a named human actually works. How does an auditor test it? You request the DLP policy and check it covers every channel: email, web, removable media, cloud. You confirm the tooling is genuinely deployed across the systems holding sensitive data, not just some of them. You review the rule thresholds and ask the blunt question: would this configuration have caught a bulk download of 700,000 records? You sample real alerts from the period and trace each one to a documented investigation and outcome. And you test the USB controls on an actual managed endpoint. 5 lessons. 1. Monitor internal access volumes, not just outbound transfers. Exfiltration starts with someone touching far more data than they need. 2. For your most sensitive data, block transfers to unapproved devices rather than just alerting on them. 3. An alert queue nobody reads is not a control. DLP is only as good as the human response behind it. 4. Behavior analytics supplements rule-based DLP, it does not replace it, you need both. And 5. Red team your own program, simulate an insider pulling data and find out whether your rules actually fire. Data loss prevention is Control B.4 in the ITGC framework. I'm walking through every one with the breach that proves why it matters every week at marcoweb.org. Subscribe to get them in your inbox, and try the free ITGC audit tool.